Dun, 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 dun. Hey Dylan, what's going on, man? Thank you for joining the live. I'm about to get started. I was just checking some news for tomorrow, see what to expect on the market. Um, are you invested in Tesla, Dylan? What do you think about Tesla June 6, 3050 calls? I think Tesla, this is what I think about Tesla. I think Tesla is going to have really good news for the next couple of weeks because of the robo taxi that releases June 12th, I believe. That's the date of the robo taxi. So for the next couple of weeks, Tesla is looking pretty strong. I mean, right now the futures are not looking very great. They're flat, a little bit on the red. I think that's how the market is going to be tomorrow early morning before we get some news that move the market. So um, I don't think that's a I don't think that's a crazy idea. I think Tesla definitely will be doing okay for the next couple of weeks. Um, so we'll see. But if they deliver and robotaxi surprises, I do see good things on Tesla coming up. It is very expensive though. Tesla as of now it's very expensive, just because they have not been delivering the numbers on cars. The sales have been dropping for the past quarter. When they reported earnings last week, they announced or they reported that their car sales for the month of May dropped about 50% as compared to last year. Last year they sold I think 14,000 cars, and then last week they announced that they had only sold 7,000 cars. So in the same month last year they sold double. So numbers are not great, and I think everything that is holding Tesla and pushing it up is just the robotaxi. That's what's pumping the stock. Other than that, so that's why I'm not entering into Tesla just now. So hopefully good news before June 6th. Definitely, I mean, if we have good news on tariffs and Tesla delivers on the robotaxi, I do see Tesla pushing, close to all-time highs because this stock is very volatile. It goes up like 25%, in a couple of weeks. So it's a little crazy stock. Ben, do I think Tesla is gonna go up tomorrow? I don't think necessarily tomorrow. I think it's gonna take the next couple of weeks, and it's gonna move up and down. I mean, you know how stocks work. They pull, they push up. So so I think definitely it's gonna be volatile for the next couple of weeks. I do see Tesla going up possibly in the next couple of weeks just because of those news on the robo taxi. I think everyone's expecting that. Kuna, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Thank you for the follow. Thank you guys for the likes. If you guys are tapping, that is awesome. That's all I asked for. Over the week, you think it will, Ben? Over this week, hard to say, man. Hard to say because even if there were no macro news, so nothing on tariffs and nothing with other conflicts, and it was just purely stocks, purely Tesla, I think strongly think Tesla would just keep going up until the release of their robotaxi. Because these kind of events, they always pump the stock because people want to see, and then they speculate, that robotaxi is going to be the next big thing, next maybe $1 trillion idea. But because we get a lot of macro news in between, and by macro news I mean news on tariffs, Trump putting tariffs on a lot of these companies or products coming from other countries, and that scares the market. And just makes that's how it works. That's how it's been working since he announced tariffs. So if there are news on that, I mean, not that's something you can't predict. If it was just purely stocks, I think it would just keep going up. I might do a call tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, just be careful on that, man. Like I said, stock, Tesla, it's a very volatile stock already. Okay, and that you have to add the macro news, tariffs, all of these stuff happening tomorrow. I wanted to share that with you guys. Tomorrow, Powell, which is the president of the Federal Reserve, he's going to be speaking at 10 a.m. Pacific time. 10 a.m. Pacific time. I live in the Pacific time zone, so for me, he's going to be speaking at 10 a.m. And if he has good news on rates, the stock market is going to is going to go for a bullish run, probably hit all-time highs. If he's very neutral, he's need to see some data, which that's what he has been telling everyone ever since this December when he announced the last cut. It's just gonna stay like that. So yeah. So Ben, if it was me, again, no financial advice. If it was me, I would wait until Powell speaks to see where the market is gonna go, because he might have bad news and say, "Hey, we're not cutting rates because of the uncertainty of the tariffs," and if he says we are not cutting rates, companies don't like that. The stock market doesn't like that. Wall Street doesn't like that, and the stocks market will drop tomorrow. So you will see some red if that's what he if that's what he communicates tomorrow during that press release. What are you watching for tomorrow? Cooper. In general, I'm just watching pretty much. I'm not buying anything. I'm watching Google. I have some stock in Google, so if Google pushes to 175, I'm going to do a cover call for possibly this Friday for 180. And if it doesn't get there, I just get my money. I get my premium. If it gets there, I sell my stock because I already have an average of about 160. So, I'll just do that. But that's the only stock pretty much that I'm watching right now. If there are drops on Nvidia at maybe 127, 125, I'll probably be buying, some Nvidia. I might do some cash secure puts on Nvidia at 127, and maybe make some couple $100 there. Hello, green week or red week due to Trump's steel tariffs? Apollo. Well, he announced that on Friday, and it was during when the market was still open, and the market didn't really react too much to it. So I don't see that moving the market tomorrow morning, because the market already priced that in. So I don't think it's moving due to the tariffs. It will move due to Powell. Okay, so I think tomorrow the market is probably gonna stay pretty flat until Powell speaks. Do you know when Trump speaks next? Ben, I don't know, man. He just randomly he'll just say. Sometimes he does announce it and say tomorrow I'm gonna be speaking, but most of the time, you just find out a couple hours before that he's going to be announcing something. Sorry for all the questions. No, Ben, keep them coming, man. That's what this live is all about. Sometimes I get a lot of people join at once. I have 40, 50 people, sometimes more, and then I get a bunch of questions dropped, and it's hard for me to get to all the questions, but I do my best. Encourage your live viewers. So if you guys share the live and hit the like button, I appreciate that. If I answer your questions, just give me some likes. Apollo, thank you for the roses, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. Do you know what time Easter that is? Yeah, it's 3 hours more. So if I'm in the Pacific and it's 10 a.m., Eastern time is 1 p.m. So let me show you that. Okay, now that I'm getting a few more people here, let's go ahead and share the news for tomorrow. I like to stay on top of what's going on, what's going to move the market the next day. So here's a couple things. Okay, for those of you that are already here on the live and are expecting big moves tomorrow in the market. Trump last week said, actually the week before last week, he said, I'm going to announce one deal within the next 7 to 10 days. Last week he didn't announce anything. So we are expecting that he announces something this week. He said he was very close to closing a trade deal with India, and that's going to be a big one. Okay, because India does provide a lot of labor, and they have cheap labor, just kind of like China. But if we close a deal with India, you could see a lot of the stocks move up. So we'll see about that. Okay, so keep an eye on that. Whenever that happens, we don't know, but it might be sometime this week. Let's see. Do you know? Okay. Cooper, thank you for the follow, man. Appreciate it. You think UNH calls worth it? Jaden. So here's my opinion. Okay, on UNH. Let's take a look at UNH. Well, actually, let me share the other thing, which is Powell, right? So I just said it right now, but just so you guys know, Powell will be having a speech tomorrow. Again, that will happen at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Eastern time is 1 p.m. So he will move the markets, like I said, depending on what he communicates in that speech. We don't know. I mean, for the past 6 months, I would say he's being very neutral on rates. Okay, he's been saying, we got to see more data. We got to see inflation going down, which inflation is going down. Okay, I don't know if you guys have seen the CPI data, the PCE, the PPI, all of those different reports that the Federal Reserve used to measure inflation. They have all been going down for the past 3 weeks. So the past three reports, last week, the week before last week, and a couple weeks ago, when those reports were released, they showed that inflation is actually coming down. Okay, not significantly, but it is coming down to the target of 2%, which is the target for the Federal Reserve. So he's got to say something about that. He's got to say, well, inflation is coming down, but he cannot be neutral anymore. He has to tell everyone when he's going to cut rates, because we don't know. I mean, they were pricing about 3 cut rates this year, and we haven't had a single one. And we only have I think about 4 meetings left. One in June, one in July. I don't know if we have one in August. I haven't looked at the calendar, and I know we have somewhere another one sometime in September, because I know December, or they might have another one in December. So I think we have 4 or 5 different meetings. But usually in those meetings, if we only have 5 left and they have to cut 3 times, or that's what analysts are predicting, that the Federal Reserve cuts about 3 times, then it's gonna be a tight race. So we'll see. But keep an eye on that. So those are some of the news for that could move the market this week. At least some of the main ones. There are a couple other things. We have earning reports for a different set of different companies too. If you want to know which companies, just follow my profile. I posted the story earlier, and there you have the table where with all the companies that will be reporting this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, or actually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So you might want to check that out. Yeah, so those are the 2 things that I wanted to share with you guys before I start, looking at stocks and sharing a couple other things. So sorry, Jaden, you said UNH. So going back to UNH, I'm pretty sure you all guys know United Health Network. They were accused of committing fraud with Medicare. Okay, overinflating prices and bunch of other stuff. And on top of that, they lost their CEO, or actually the CEO quit suddenly. And then on top of that, they did not release guidance for the next 3 months, which is really bad for a stock. And for investors, they don't like that. They don't like the uncertainty. So a lot of the investors just left the stock in a hurry. And because of all that stuff, I mean, it took a dip from $600 to $250, as you can see right there. And ever since then, I mean, it hasn't gone back to that support of $250, and it's now trending in that $590, $600 range. So since we haven't heard any news, to me, okay, again, just what I've seen in other stocks, no news is good news for this stock. Okay, I'll say it again. No news is good news for this stock in specific. So they haven't forgotten. I mean, they're still investigating and running the reports, but we haven't heard anything. If there was something really bad with the stock, I think we would have heard it by now. So we haven't heard anything. And that was Jaden who asked me about UNH. I mean, you still have to be careful, because if they come out in the next couple of days and say there's actually fraud, I mean, you could see more downside to this stock, possibly hit again the 250, if not lower. So I do believe in United Healthcare. I think it's a good stock for the long run. Okay, for in a couple years, nobody's gonna remember this, but again, you gotta consider how long you're willing to wait. This is my second week doing options, honestly. Ben, if you're doing options, man, you know the risk. right? If you are new to options and you're not sure, um, you know, you gotta do a little bit of studying. I don't know if this is better, like this is your second week doing options or just the second week trading for this year. Because if you only had like 2 weeks of training, or did you have training before that? That's what I meant. Hey, so I'm pretty new to the options. Can you describe what a covered call is? Cooper. Yeah, man. I also have a video in my profile. You can watch it, but I can explain it really quick. So basically, for a covered call, you have to own 100 shares. Okay. So if you have 100 shares of any stock, and you already want to sell, let's say you want to sell. Let's say I have a stock. I bought it at 100, and I have 100 shares. I'm gonna tell the market. I'm gonna sign a contract with the market and say, hey, market, I want to sell my stock at 105. Okay, so I want to gain or earn $5 per share. So I want to sell it at 105, and I think it's gonna get there by this Friday. The market says, okay, I'm willing to pay you a premium. Now, if the stock goes above 105, I get to keep the profits. Okay, that's what the contract says. If my stock gets to 105, I get the gains, the $5 per share, and I get the premium that the market is paying me. But if it goes above 105, then the market keeps whatever is above 105. If it goes to 110 or 115, the market still keeps it because that's what's in the contract. Okay, so that's pretty much what a covered call is, and I mean it's a win-win for you because I get my premium and I get my $5 per share. So for me, it's a win-win. I mean, if the market gets money, fine, but at least I get my premium and I get $5 per stock. So that's a pretty much the whole idea of doing cover calls. Motivation. Hey man, how you doing? Feeling better now? Okay. Let's see. How can we know about how can we know when JP speaks? Apollo. Usually he'll have they'll be on YouTube, or if you just Google it and say Jerome Powell's press conference, and there'll be one link there that'll take you to that video. That's how I find it sometimes. Or I'm in a group, and in my group they share it with us, so that makes it a lot easier. But if not, you can just Google it. I own Nvidia. Should I stop worrying when to sell and hold for a couple years? Rose. I don't know. It depends what is your average and what is your how long you want to hold it for. Is it for the long term? If you're long term, you got nothing to worry about. Zero. Okay. If it's for the long term, if you're planning to sell in a couple years, 5 years, if it's for a Roth IRA, it's it for the long term portfolio, then you have nothing to worry about. If you just want it for a swing trade, then that's a little bit more dangerous because Nvidia might take might drop a little bit more, just because I think it's got some bad news coming up. So I think it's gonna drop a little bit more in my opinion. What is your option on Bitcoin? Motivation. I mean Bitcoin is here to stay, man. That's one of the cryptos that I believe that it's here to stay. It'll be here. It'll be here in 10 years. So I'm not buying Bitcoin. I buy stocks that I don't have to worry about, because Bitcoin, it could go in 10 years to 500,000, but it could also go to 50,000. Okay. Because there's just no way to know, because Bitcoin doesn't sell anything. If something crazy happens with the economy or the dollar, which is pretty much what affects Bitcoin or makes it move, it could just drop to 50. I don't know, right? I don't know. I don't study crypto a lot. I'd rather stick with stocks that I know for sure 99%. And I say 99 because that 1% can make the stock drop if the company goes bankrupt, but it's very, 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 very unlikely. So if you buy Microsoft is not going to go bankrupt. Okay. Or if you buy Apple is not going to go bankrupt. So if I buy those kind of stocks, I know they will be okay in a few years. Even if I put in money and they drop and I'm down $5,000, I know they'll be okay. So I have nothing to worry about. All I have to do is just wait. Rocky, thank you for the follow, Rocky. Opinion on MKC. We'll look at that. I don't know what that is, Hamid, but we'll look at that in a minute. Will Bitcoin break 105 mark and move up? Motivation. I think Bitcoin, it's got some room down, and possibly hit that resistance at 100. Because that's the resistance that it broke last time. So let's see. So somewhere around. Oh, no, that's not what I meant to do. Somewhere around this 97,000. That's when it broke. You see how it had resistance there, and then right here. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm not showing you that. There we go. So it had resistance here and here and here, and then finally broke it. And now it's trying to hit that support at around 102. Okay, somewhere around that area. If it does break that 102, I do see it hitting about 97,000. So we'll see. But again, it's a very expensive. I mean, this, if I was doing crypto, the only way that I would enter into Bitcoin is if Bitcoin hit another, at 70,000, 75K, which was a pretty strong resistance about 6 months ago. That's the only way that I would enter into Bitcoin, and maybe just like $1,000, $2,000, just to see, right, if it actually made me some money. But I wouldn't put my money and energy into this for the long term, or for swing trades. You like videos? Wait, your like videos are public, right? Cooper, yeah, they're public. You can just check them out. Just check my profile. I have a video on a cover call I did on I think on Google, so check it out. With Bitcoin, okay. Period. What is guidance? Period. Guidance is the plans that the company gives for the next 3 months. So, for example, Nvidia released the earnings last Wednesday on the 28th, and they report how much money they made and how much money they made per share. Okay. Now they beat those two, so they made more money than the money that was expected, and they also made more money per share than the money that was expected. Now, a lot of investors like that, but they care way more about guidance, because they want to know, okay, what's the future, right? Because I mean, just imagine yourself. You're trying to put money into a stock. You don't care about what's worth right now. You don't care. You care about what's going to be worth next week or next month, right? Because you want to make money on it. I mean, if you buy it now at $100, whatever stock, and you pay $100 for the stock, you don't care what it's worth right now. You care about, okay, where is this stock going to go? Is it going to make me money? Because if it's not going to make me money, I'm not going to put my money in it. So guidance is that report for the future. Okay, what's your plan as a company? What are you guys gonna do to make more money? And basically the guidance is just a report telling the investors, okay, this is how much we plan to make in the next 3 months. Which Nvidia, I think it went from this time it reported 44 billion, and their guidance is for 46 billion. So they're going to increase $2 billion in earnings. They also said, we have some deals in Saudi Arabia, and we have some deals with we're creating a new Blackwell chip, which is better than the chip we have right now. So they start giving all of these plans, for the future, and how the company is going to keep making billions of dollars. So that's pretty much what guidance is. Icor, thank you for sharing the live. Thank you, appreciate it, and appreciate you guys tapping the screen. If you guys are hitting the like my answers, like the way I speak, I'm very blunt about it. Okay, I'm sorry if some of you guys get offended when I speak about some stocks, but I'm just trying to help you avoid making some of the mistakes I made when I first started. So if you guys like my answers, tap the screen. Let's see. Ben, my second week. Okay, Ben. So I've had no training or nothing. Ben, this is what I would do, okay? Just to save you some pain. At the end of the day, you can do whatever you want, man. Whatever you want. This is not personal. This is not financial advice. But for someone that has been trading for 2 weeks and you want to start with options, it's probably not a good idea. Okay, not a good idea. You might make some money, but it's gonna be luck, and you don't want earning money to be a one-time thing. You want it to make consistent. If you're considering this for something serious, for something in the future, where you can make money every week, every month, and options are not a bad idea. I don't do options, but they're not a bad idea. Okay, I know a lot of people who do options and they do pretty good, but they've had a training for years, and that's how they make money consistently. Every day or every week, they make their money. If you just started and you want to start with options, I will be very, very careful. Okay, very, very careful, because you can make a lot of money with options, but you could also lose all your money. Okay, so I would say start paper trading. If you don't know what paper trading is, just Google it. There are a lot of tools online that can give you a tool for paper trading, which is basically fake trading, and then give it a try first. Okay, if you think you're ready, give it a try with paper trade and see, where would you be? Are you going to be earning money? Are you going to be losing money? And at least it's fake money, so you're not going to, your pockets are not going to hurt or get hurt. So I would start with that. Okay, just again, not financial advice, but I would be very careful. Get some more training. Read some more books about how the market moves, when it's a good opportunity, when it's a bad opportunity. I'm actually going to be taking a training on options in 2 weeks. 2 weeks? Yeah, I think it's June 21st, 22nd. I don't do options. The only options I do are covered calls and cash secure puts. But I want to know a little bit more, okay? Because I'm not an expert in options. I have to admit it. I make my money trading stocks, buying and selling, swing trading, and selling, like I said, cash secure puts, or buying cash secure puts and selling cover calls. But I want to know more. But I'm gonna get a training for that. I'm not gonna do it, blinded and just walk into a stock and say, okay, I'm gonna buy this and hopefully it goes up. I'm not gonna do that because I don't like to gamble with my money. Jay Cordero, good Sunday, man. Good Sunday. I'm gonna be here only for like 30 more minutes. So today, I wasn't even planning to be online, but I wanted to share a couple things with everyone just so that they know what to expect tomorrow. There's gonna be a lot of volatility this week, that's for sure. Okay, it's not gonna be a flat market. It's gonna drop. It's gonna go up. It's gonna drop. It's gonna go up because there are a lot of things happening. Tlacuachona, thank you for the gifts. Appreciate it. I'll see you in a bit. Ali Landeros, you will probably already answer this, but with Trump putting 50% tariffs on steel, what stocks mostly be impacted by it? Aliyah, so the stocks that get more impacted with steel and the tariffs on steel is the automotive industry, because they are the ones that buy all of these parts for cars, and all of these parts for cars are steel. So if they import steel from Mexico or Canada at 50% tariff, then that's going to be more expensive, which is going to make their cars more expensive. So they are the ones that get impacted the most. But I think when Trump announced that on Friday, the market was still open, and there was not a big reaction, at least not for the stocks in general, like the S&P 500. The S&P 500 opened at 589, it dropped, and then it recovered all day. So, and it closed at 589. So pretty much stayed flat all day, or opened at the same price where it closed, or closed at the same price where it opened. So if you want to check, the car industry, the automotive industry, those are the ones that are going to get the most impacted by the tariffs on steel. Can you show me how to find highs and lows? Diddy, highs and lows of pre-market. Pre-market, the best thing to look at what the market is going to do tomorrow is to look at the futures. Okay, the futures are indexes that track what's happening in Europe, what's happening in Asia, because those markets move our markets in the US as well. So you got to look at, because they already open. The Asian market, I think it opens at 7 p.m. Pacific time, which is where I live. I live in the Pacific time area. And then the European market, I think it opens sometime in the morning, like at 2 a.m. for me. But these indexes track what's happening in Asia already, so you can get an idea of how the market is going to be tomorrow. So that's why a lot of traders and a lot of the pros, the big companies, they look at the futures, because they want to know, where those are, because most likely that's going to reflect on how the United States stocks are going to do in the next day. Blue, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Motivation, thank you. No problem, man. How's it going, everyone? I hope everyone's doing well. Brish, I appreciate the thunder and the GGs. Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate the gifts. Appreciate the likes. If you guys are tapping the screen as well, that's my only prize for me speaking here in the live. So if you guys tap the screen, help me get to 10,000 before I leave today. I got like 20 minutes left. Paulo, Thinkorswim has paper trading and follows the market. Yep. Paulo, thank you for that. Thinkorswim. So I think I was telling Ben, right, Ben? Yeah. So Google Thinkorswim. That is another platform, just like the one I use. I like this one because I already paid for it. And I like it more than Thinkorswim. I have Thinkorswim because I have an account with Charles Schwab for my long-term investing, and I get Thinkorswim for free with my account. But I didn't like it for some reason. Maybe because I started using TradingView and I got familiar with this, so I started using TradingView, and I like it better. But Thinkorswim is probably equally as good as TradingView. That's your indicator setup, bro. Trooper. I got a couple of them. This is just one of them. I make it very simple. SMAs, volume, RSI, but I got a couple more. Let's see, how long take you to learn? To learn, it takes you maybe 6 months. To be profitable, that's a whole different question. To be profitable, I think you have to experience a lot of things. You have to experience a little bit of pain, and to be profitable, I would say it's an average of maybe 2 years, depending on what kind of training you get. If you get a training by pros, and you pay $3,000, $5,000, I think is what some companies charge to make you a pro. Then you can be profitable right away, right? It all depends on what kind of training you get. If you know how to manage your risk, and then you can become profitable. But I would say on average, to be a good trader, it'll take you about 2 to 3 years. Okay, to be a good trader. So it'll take some time, because the more you learn about this stuff, the more stuff there is to learn. Okay, because you learn one thing and then you find out something else, and then you start looking at all of this. It's like a what do they call it? Like the snowball effect, like the snowball is this big, and then you start to roll it, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Kind of the same thing here with all the knowledge. You think you know everything, and your knowledge is like this, and then starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The more stuff you find out, then you start getting related to, what moves the market, the news, what's a CPI report, what's a PPI report, what's a PCE report, what's a Federal Reserve, what's a bond. Like all of those things start coming to you and at you, and all of those things are related to the market. So it does take a little while. But if you're learning and trying to learn about all this stuff, you got to start somewhere, and that's the most important thing. Start with some of the simple things and learn one thing at a time. Read some books. There are some really great books. I do have a couple of books that I can give out for free. So if you guys are interested, I can email them to you. I know I have some emails. I'm sorry if I haven't responded to those emails. I just saw them today, because since we're not, I don't have you on my friends list, those messages get blocked, and I have to actually look for them so that I can send those out. So if you guys requested one of the copies of the book that I have been giving out for free, and I haven't sent it to you, I'm sorry. I will send it to you tomorrow, I promise. Okay. But if you want one, just send me a message on TikTok with your email, and I'll give it to you for free. Yeah, I'll give it to you for free. Just send me your email, and it's a PDF. It's about 200 pages, and it starts with something simple, which is reading charts. Okay, all these charts here, the red candles, the green candles, what they mean, all that stuff. So that's some of the basics. So start there, and then as you guys grow onto that knowledge, then I'm gonna be creating a group of people who are interested in learning in the summer, because I'm gonna get more time in the summer, and then I'm putting together also a course for beginners that I'm gonna be sharing also in the summer. So give me some time. I'm gonna make that group grow, and hopefully I can help some people learn a little bit about how to trade in the stock market. So that's coming up. But at least for starters, we can start with that book that I told you about. So just send me a message with your email. I'll send it to you. Let's see. Brown Guy, thank you for the roses. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for the gifts. Trooper, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. See, One Trust, thank you for the follow. Yeah, I get a lot of followers. I love that. I want to grow my channel to 10,000. That's my goal. One Trust, crash or boom? One Trust, do you mean like tomorrow? I don't think there's a crash coming up, at least not anytime soon. I mean, you've seen the market, you've seen the SPY. If you've seen the SPY has been rejecting a lot that 595 mark. And even though we have had bad news, and I say bad news, the United States getting their credit worthiness downgraded, and then Trump putting tariffs on other countries, the deals with China not going very well, and even though we've gotten all of these bad news, those kind of news should drop the SPY. They should drop the SPY to, I don't know, 580, 570, fill in this gap of 570 to 576. But the SPY has been very resilient. So in my opinion, I think it wants to hit all-time highs before we see a crash. So that's my opinion. And that was One Trust. Lone Wolf, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoy my content. What ETFs do you recommend long-term? Okay, again, I can't recommend period, just because of legal stuff, right? And the reason why a lot of people who is serious about the stock market, and people who do not want to take your money, because you've seen those TikTokers who say click on my link and sub to my page, and it's only like $10 a month, or it's $100 or $300 or whatever it is that they charge. They make you believe that if you join them, they're gonna give you the best advice, and their stocks never lose, and that's not true. That's absolutely not true. Nobody in the stock market has just wins. Nobody. Zero. Okay. So if they make you believe, or they want you to believe that they always win 100% of the time, that's a lie. So don't fall for that. And the reason, just going back to my point, the reason why I don't recommend is because I could say, hey, buy SPY, buy it. It's a good stock, buy it. And then SPY drops to 500. You guys are going to be like, that guy doesn't know anything. And I'll feel horrible, right? Because I'm that kind of person. Like I wouldn't give you advice if I don't know what's going to happen with SPY. I can tell you, what the indicators tell me, what the technical analysis on SPY is, and what the return is historically for the SPY. But that doesn't mean that SPY is not going to drop. Okay, so period. If it was me, okay, again, from my perspective, SPY is one of the best ones. VOO, VTI, you see these three here. These are some of the best stocks because they track the S&P 500. They track the 500 companies in the United States that make the most money. Okay, the most powerful companies in the United States, or the 500 most powerful companies in the United States. And do you know what happens if one of those 500 stocks in VTI or VOO or SPY, if one of those 500 companies doesn't do well, let's say they commit fraud or they stop making money because they're now, their business is not good, you know what the SPY does? They take it out and they bring up the next company that is making a lot of money. Simple as that. That's the reason why the SPY, the VOO, and the VTI, they have good returns every year. Okay. Now, if we have a COVID like we did 4 years ago, that makes the entire market drop. Okay. And instead of, earning money every year, you're going to lose money if you sell your stock. If you don't sell it, the SPY or the S&P 500 always recovers. 100% recovery. Okay. And I don't say that. I'm not saying that without data. I can show you. Okay. If I look at 5 years on the SPY on, let's say, the month, you're going to see it right here. Okay. You see that? So if we look at, this is December of 2018, where you see where my mark is. This is December of, actually, let's look at March of 2020. Okay. March of 2020, it was at $219. It recovered, it dropped, it recovered, it dropped because of tariffs, in April. And then it recovered, and it's going to continue the same trend. It's going to drop, it's going to recover, it's going to drop. And you can go as far back as 93, okay, which is when the SPY was created, back in 93. And you can see that, going up at 153, drop, going up, and then the housing bubble in 2008, it dropped, and then it recovered, and then it dropped in 19. I forgot what happened in 19. I think it was just a bear market, and then it went up, and then we had COVID, it dropped, and then it recovered, and then we had tariffs, it dropped. So what do you think is going to happen next? Okay, so just quick analysis on an ETF that is a really good ETF. Again, SPY, VOO is going to have the same history. You see it. VTI is going to have the same history because they all track the S&P 500. So if you do this long term, which I am doing it long term, and you put in money aggressively every month as much as you can, it's recommended to do 10% every month, at least from your salary. But if you can do more, if you could do every week and just put it in the S&P 500 and buy when it drops, just buy as much as you can, leave it there, and then collect this in 10 years, in 20 years, you're going to be a millionaire. No question. You're going to be a millionaire, but you got to do it consistently. Okay. Every week, every month, as much as you can. Chris, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Please share me. Sunshine, I will. Just send me your email. I will. Thanks. No problem. Melon, thank you for the follow. All good. I can send you another message for the PDF. Yep, absolutely, man. Absolutely, Brish. I will get to that tomorrow. I promise. Oh, good. Okay. Sunshine, send you a message. Thank you. Brish, thank you for the GGs and the Thunders. Appreciate it. Justin, thank you for the gold, man. Appreciate that. That usually pays the person who's doing the live, and I'm not doing it for pay, but it's always nice to know that people appreciate what I share, and I get some of those gifts. So if you guys share some gifts, that is well received. I don't ask for them. I just ask for the taps, which are free. But if you guys send me a gift, I really appreciate that. So Justin, thank you for that, man. I would love to participate in that class. Brish, I will be putting it together. I've already been working on that seminar/workshop for a few months. I still need some things done. So once I put it all together, I'll give you guys more information. Brish, thank you for sharing the live. Thank you. Just send you a message. Okay, Sunshine, I will get to that tomorrow. How long are you in trading? This is my 5th year. So I've been 5 years trading. Thoughts on market tomorrow? Michael, thoughts on the market? I think tomorrow we're going to have a flat day in the morning. So as soon as the market opens, I think it's going to be pretty flat. Just because there were no news in the during the weekend, which typically good or bad news move the markets. But there weren't any news at all over the weekend, which is a good thing. But tomorrow we have Powell speaking at 10 a.m. Pacific time. That will move the market, depending on what he says in relation to interest rates. So Powell, for those of you that don't know, is the president of the Federal Reserve. So he's the big guy. He's the boss. He's the one that says we're going to cut rates or we're not gonna cut rates. And if rates are cut, the market is gonna boom. Okay. The other day, somebody asked me, why is it that cutting rates is good for the market? And short explanation is because borrowing money becomes cheaper, right? Like if you're planning to buy a car or buy a house, you're waiting for rates to drop so that you can have lower payments. Same thing for big companies, for Apple, for Walmart, for Costco. They borrow money all the time. Okay, they borrow money so that they can pay their workers. They borrow money so that they can expand their business. They borrow money so that they can make more stores. And because they're borrowing money from the government, well, they're waiting for the rates to be lower so that they can expand more business. And that's why it's good for the market, because they can make more borrowing for cheaper. Do you think SPY will take out UNH due to them performing the worst? I don't think so. I don't think so, because it's not only about performing the worst, period. It's also about what their market cap is. Okay, how much money are they worth? And I think UNH, I think it's far from the worst stock in the S&P 500. So I don't think they'll take him out, because they have huge potential in the next couple of years. I think what happened to United Health is unfortunate. If they don't have any proof and they cannot show that they actually committed fraud, then I think this stock is just gonna start recovering little by little. It's not gonna do it in a couple weeks or in a couple months, but it will recover little by little. How do you predict the SPY? Well, I look at the macro economy, okay? Because the SPY is pretty much 500 of the most powerful companies in the United States. So it's hard to predict the SPY because it has all of these companies. But if the technology sector does well, like if Nvidia has good reports, if Microsoft has good reports and earnings, if Apple has good reports and earnings, then that usually pulls the SPY, because there are a lot of technology or technological stocks within the SPY, and that usually helps the SPY pump up, and then the SPY helps the other stocks pump up, so they all move at the same time. Okay, so the SPY pulls a lot of these other stocks. If the technology sector does bad, then same thing. It'll drop the SPY, and the SPY will pull the rest of the stocks down with it. So and that's what you use as a prediction of, okay, what's going to happen with the rest of the stocks. SPY is not doing well, most likely the rest of the stocks are not doing well. Alonsan, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. 619 not found. Have you traded crypto? I stay away from crypto, man. Just because I like to make profits and make my profits consistent or consistently every week or every month, whenever it's a good time to trade. And I like to know where my stocks are gonna go. And with crypto, it's really hard to do that. So no, I don't do crypto. I look at the stocks, just to know and stay up with Bitcoin and some of the big cryptocurrencies, but I don't trade it. Do you scalp? Kai? No, I tried that. Very stressful, man. I was like shaking when I was hitting my sell button and my buy or my buys and my sells, the entries and exits. It was too stressful. So I stay away from scalping, and I don't like to stay sitting all day in front of the computer just watching the stock to see when I'm gonna sell, when I'm gonna buy. I don't like that. How do you trade on the SPY? I can't seem to figure it out. How do you trade AUD on SPY? What do you mean? What do you mean ODT? Kehlani, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Michael, thoughts on the market tomorrow? I think it's gonna be pretty flat. Michael, I think it's gonna be pretty flat tomorrow. I don't think it's gonna move until Powell speaks. Okay, or unless Trump, wakes up in a good or bad mood before the market opens, and he posts on Truth Social, which is his social media platform. If he says something there, positive or negative, then that will move the market before Powell speaks. I'm very curious, guys, about what Powell is gonna say. If you guys don't know, he met with Trump on Thursday or Friday, one of those 2 days, and I don't know. He didn't say, what was said, and I think he's gonna share that tomorrow. I hope. I heard from somebody else, a rumor. It's just a rumor, nothing confirmed, that Powell might quit. Jerome Powell. If that happens, if Jerome Powell quits, the market is going to tank. The market is going to tank. And I'll tell you why. Some of them might think that it's going to be good news. I don't think it's going to be good news. I don't think it's going to be good news because Powell, right now, even though everyone is hating Powell because he's not cutting rates, he's doing it for a reason. Okay, he's doing it because he wants to control inflation so that it doesn't keep going up. Because if inflation is not controlled, everything is going to keep going up. If you buy eggs, if you buy milk, if you buy toilet paper, all that stuff is going to continue to go up because people are just buying cheaper. And when you buy a lot, supply and demand, right? If there's not enough, it's going to go up in price. What happened with eggs 2 months ago? The prices skyrocketed because we didn't have enough eggs. So if inflation is not controlled, then the market will drop. And if Jerome Powell quits, the market will drop. Okay, because he's the only guy right now that is putting up with Trump and saying, I'm not gonna cut. Okay, not because I have something against you or against the market or against anyone, because I don't believe it's a good time to cut, and I'm okay with that. Okay, I'm okay with that. I'm willing to wait, and because the rate cuts will happen. We just have to wait for the right time. I'm waiting to join your class, Julie. I will be looking forward to that. I'll let you know. As soon as I have finished the workshop. So I'll let you know for sure. I'll keep you guys up to date in my channel. Does he speak tomorrow, Nick? Yes, tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Do you think Nvidia will hit 150 by January? User, by January of next year? I think so. I definitely I think it's probably gonna go to 170 by January, but it's definitely gonna be a rough road from now until then. But if Nvidia keeps doing what it's doing right now, which they are a monster of company, they make more money than any other company in the stock market. So if they continue that road, definitely, I think 150 is short. I think it's like the low end. My prediction is by January it'll probably be somewhere around 170 to 200. Does Powell speak tomorrow? Yes. So yeah, tomorrow at 1. Can you share the person name who announced? Sunshine, what do you mean? What person? Who announced what? What is the difference between QQQ and QQM, or are they the same? Did you see it here? There is one stock. I don't have QQM here. QQM. Oops. QQM. Is it QQM or QQ? Wait, QQM. Sorry. I don't know if you're giving me the right ticker symbol, Julie. I don't know if you're looking at like the TQQQ or the SQQQ. The difference, I'll tell you the difference between the ones I have, because I don't know QQM. I'm not sure about that one. But the difference between the QQQ is that this one tracks the NASDAQ, so the 100 companies in the NASDAQ, and it's mainly technology companies like Apple, Nvidia, all the big ones. And the SQQQ, it works the opposite as the QQQ. What do I mean the opposite? If the QQQ goes up, the SQQQ goes down. Does that make sense? So a lot of people use it because like last Friday, I was planning to do this last Friday. I didn't do it. But I knew the QQQ was going to drop because it had a big reaction. So I knew it was going to drop. And it was good time for me to buy the SQQQ because I knew it was going to go up. Okay, as QQQ was going to go down, the SQQQ was going to go up. And I was this close to buy, and I didn't buy it. I didn't want to risk some of my money. And it did go up. I think it was like a $22, I want to say. Yeah, like $22. And I was going to buy it right there. And I was like, no, should I buy it? Should I not? because my profit was gonna be like $1, but I knew it was gonna drop because of the overreaction that the stocks had because of the removal of tariffs. That's what happened on Thursday, the removal of tariffs. But that thing went back and forth, like removal and then not removal, and it was just going back and forth. But I was about to buy it, but it just works the opposite as the QQQ. And let's see, do you think, okay, we got that one. Do you use the RSI and MACD indicators? Chris, yeah. So I use the RSI. The MACD, I have it on a different setup. But the RSI, I definitely use it because I want to know when stocks are oversold and when stocks are overbought. That's a big indicator that confirms, my candlesticks up here. So yeah, so I use the RSI. See, sorry, QQQ. Oh, QQQM. Do I even have it here? Oh, wait, I'm looking at crypto. QQQM. That's not even typing. QQQM. See this one here? Wait, where is it? It's not even coming up. There we go. I think this is the one that is a this is a very stock to see some smaller QQQ. I think this is the one that has leverages. Has leverage over regular QQQ, which means that it's a little bit riskier to trade. Julie, this one moves 3 times as much as the QQQ. So if the QQQ goes up $1, the QQQM goes up $3. But if QQQ goes down $1, then the QQQM goes down $3. Does that make sense? And that's for people who want to make a bigger profit. But again, bigger profit, bigger risk as well. This week looks red. What do you think is going to happen? JF, I think we are going to have a lot of volatility. Definitely. I don't think it necessarily is going to be red, but it's going to have a lot of volatility. Julie, gotcha. Okay. I hope it made sense. Okay. There are a lot of stocks that have leverage on other stocks, and it's just because people like to risk a little bit more. And a lot of these, again, they have like three times leverage, so they'll just move 3 times as much as a regular stock, which in this case is a QQQ. No problem, Julie. Let's see, user 48. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Let's see. I asked multiple traders about these 2 indicators, and a lot have said no. Chris, so here's the thing with indicators. I mean, different traders use different indicators. Depends on what kind of trading you do. If you're a swing trader, if you're a day traders use completely different indicators. They use like the VWAP, and just to give you a couple of examples, they use the 8-day moving average. So it's totally different. The indicators they use. If you're a swing trader, I'm a swing trader, so these are the ones that I like to look at. MACD, RSI are some of the simplest ones. I mean, you can go and use some of the most advanced indicators, but they all do the same. Just keep it simple, keep it easy. And again, you're never gonna have, sometimes you have traders. Most of them are going to agree on the SMAs and the EMAs, which are 2 types of moving averages. EMA tracks the most recent movements, and SMA tracks the movements on average. Okay, so more days on average, and EMA, the exponential moving average, tracks the most recent days. How's the stock doing, or has been doing for the past 10 days, just to give you an example. Okay, so let's get a couple more comments and then I'm out. I wasn't even planning to be here Sunday, but I just wanted to give you a quick update on what the market looks like tomorrow. Can you check Cheesecake Factory? What is your opinion? JF, give me the ticker symbol and we'll follow it. Mr. Nasdaq, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. What do you think? What is your thought on using margin to buy great asset class like S&P of QQQ? Dylan, I'll get to that in a second. So, guys, if you guys are here, give me some some likes. I'd like to get to 10,000 likes before I leave in the next couple minutes. So I'd like to get there. Help me hit that goal. CEO Leo, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it, man. Dylan, what do you think about on using margin to buy great assets like S&P or QQQ? So here's my thought on margin, Dylan. And for those of you that don't know what margin is, it's basically borrowing more money from your broker. Okay, so let's say you have $1,000 in your broker, and your broker says, I can borrow, I can let you borrow, 3,000 more on top of the 1,000 you have. I'll let you borrow 3,000. I'm gonna charge you an interest, but I'm gonna let you borrow them so you can buy more stocks. The problem with that is that, let's say you buy SPY, okay? You buy the SPY, and then the SPY drops to, I don't know, 500, okay? So on each stock you bought on the SPY, you lost right now like $90, okay, or $80, somewhere around that. If the broker wants, they can force you to sell some shares so that they can get their money back, okay? Because once you are in the negative, you're gonna be losing more than the money you put in. Does that make sense? So if you put in $1,000 and you bought 2 stocks of the SPY, if the stock drops, $80, you're gonna be fine because it's your money and you can take the loss. It's fine. But when the market or your broker is taking a loss, they don't like that. Okay, they don't like that because the money you put in doesn't even cover the loss. So they can make you sell some of your stock, and then you take the loss for everything. So you lose completely your $1,000. So that's the risk. That's the risk with margin. Okay, you could lose your entire amount of money if the stock drops and you don't have any more money to cover the money that you borrowed. So it's a little bit dangerous to do margin. If it's for the long run, I mean, just be patient and put in a little bit of money every now and then. Apollo, thank you for the roses, man. Appreciate it. CEO, thank you for follow. JF, thank you for recommending somebody else for the channel. The ticker symbol. That's the ticker symbol. Sorry, I thought you were tagging someone. Cake. Cheesecake Factory. Let's take a look at that. Nobody has asked me about that before. So let's look at the dailies. Always good to look at the dailies and see where this is going or where this has been. I mean, I'm not impressed. I'll tell you that firsthand. Just because usually when a stock is not making higher highs and it's just coming back, from a higher high from, when was this? From 4 years ago. I always like to look at it this way. If you invested this money 4 years ago, right now it's hitting a resistance at $56, okay, which it was already there, in 21. So if you invested money back in 2021 and you wanted to cash out now, you would have gained $0. So I just put my money in this stock and it didn't even grow anything in 4 years. That's a long time. If you look at other companies that have a lot of growth, I mean, just look at Apple. Okay, if you bought Apple 4 years ago, same time, let's see, 21. Where was it at 21? 21. So in 21 it was 150. Right now it's still with the loss. It's still at 200. So you would have made $50 per share. So sometimes there are better stocks that don't have that downtrend and then trying to recover, trying to hit all-time highs. This stock already hit all-time highs and it rejected all-time highs, and now it's trying to come back. So be careful with that. If you're trying to, whether it's for a swing, I mean, especially if it's for a long term, there's no potential here in long term. If it's for a swing, you might want to wait until it drops and then buy cheap, sell high. See, Mr. Naza, okay, got that. Why Ulta gap up? I think it was earnings, Apollo. I'll look at that. Motivation, 10K. Woohoo! Thank you guys. Thank you guys for helping me get to 10K. And thank you for the roses, Apollo, again. Ulta with the gap up. We can take a look at Ulta, and that'll be my last one. So Ulta. And I'm pretty sure it was earnings, Apollo. Let's see. See day. Yeah, you see earnings right here at the bottom. So they had they met earnings per share. They made more earnings per share, and they also made more money. So they surprised with $54 million more than they had predicted, and that's a big earnings. Usually when stocks have earnings and they release a big amount, right? A big amount on top of what was expected, then the stocks jump. They take a big jump because the stock market likes surprises. If it's a positive surprise, of course, they like surprises. And you see this where it says surprise, 54 millions above what was expected. So obviously the stock took a big jump, but it's rejecting that jump. That jump is not natural. So it jumped here and then it closed with this inverse hammer. Inverse hammer on occasions they are bullish, so I don't know. It might continue the run on tomorrow on Monday because of the great news on earnings. But my educated guess is that it's going to fill in this gap sooner or later, right? Because stocks always fill in gaps. So it has a big gap from 420 all the way to 467. So I would not enter there unless it drops back to somewhere around 430. And then from here, if it holds that amount, then let it bounce. And then maybe I enter into position. But that's what it is. That's what it was. Good night, motivation. Good night, man. Thank you for staying here. And hope to see you tomorrow in the live. What site is this by any chance? This is TradingView. This is what I use. It's a platform. It's an application. What is your recommendation on how many hours should a new trade work? Good night. Good night, Apollo. Thank you, guys. Thank you guys for staying here. So I'm just going to answer this last question from Sunshine. What do you mean recommendation? How many hours should a new trade work? What does that mean, Sunshine? How many hours should a new trade work? Like how many hours to hold a stock? Is that what you mean? I'm not. I didn't understand fully your question. If you're a swing trader, swing traders usually trade for obviously more than a day because it's not a day trade, and they stay within 10 days. Okay, that's the average. But I mean, there are some swing traders that take a little bit longer. Thank you for the knowledge, Jay Cordero. I hope you learned something today. I learned something new every day, so I hope you guys also learn at least one thing that is new every day. So you're welcome, man. No problem. Good night. Okay. Good night, guys. I will see you tomorrow. If you guys enjoy the content, again, drop some likes. Check my profile. I drop some videos that are interesting on stocks. And like I said before, I drop stories on the market tomorrow morning. You know, if there are any news, I'll keep you up to date. I'll post the story on my profile. So check it out. Okay. So with that said, have a great night.